This is Secret America.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Jack Danger along with Jay Gatling, and we have a lot to talk about today. There's a problem in the senator race in Alaska that we got to talk about. We have twins, I believe. There are twins actually on the ballot. We're going to talk about that. If you saw our thumbnail, it says, "Will the real Dan Sullivan please stand up?" And we all got Slim Shady. We got the blonde hair. Looks really cool, just like Eminem back in the day, back, before he became an old lesbian like Howard Stern. And then we've got Harvard, believe it or not, Harvard selling dead bodies on the black market. Harvard selling dead bodies, caught selling dead bodies on the black market. We're talking about Harvard and possible, I don't know if it's like organ thieves or what the hell they're doing, but it's the school selling dead bodies on the black market. We've also got Hassan Piker. We've got something interesting about his family. We found someone in his family that has a top security clearance, and guess what? Worked on Air Force One. I'm talking about Hassan Piker, and I'm talking about an immediate family member, not some distant relative. And
Wonderful.
then, there's also, we've got a former Islamic extremist. He actually comes out and tells the world the plan that the Islamists are following. We're going to talk about that. And then the Democratic Socialists of America. We have evidence that they are actually being funded by the Chinese Communist Party through a socialist sympathizer, and we will talk about that as well. But the very first thing I want to talk about, Jay, is the Alaskan senator's race. So we've got incumbent Dan Sullivan. He's a Republican, okay? He's facing Mary Peltola, who is really the only challenger. The other ones, it's a ranked choice voting state, which I hate. Democrats usually, they usually implement that because they allow it to end up being a Democrat versus a Democrat, rather than having to worry about a Democrat versus a Republican. In this one, since this is a purple to red area, that's why it ends up being a Democrat and a Republican. But let me tell you, I personally believe, and this is just my opinion, that the Democrats put in a second Dan Sullivan to siphon off votes. And I'm going to tell you why. This Dan Sullivan, first of all, him and Mary Peltola are neck and neck. Anybody could win this race. It's a coin flip. He's the incumbent. He's the Republican senator as we speak. But the new Dan Sullivan, the Dan Sullivan that somehow got in the last four, only got 2% of the vote, but still got into the last four to where he can siphon votes off. He was a Democrat his entire life up until this race. Entire life up until this race. He just happens to have the same exact name as Dan Sullivan, and he gets off the Democrat ticket. He's now Republican ticket. So you got two Republican Dan Sullivans that will siphon votes from him. The DOJ has launched an investigation, and I think they should, because I want to look into this guy's background. I want to know why he switched parties all of a sudden. I want to know why he just happened to join the exact race of somebody with the same name. And I want to know whose idea this was. I want to see text messages, emails. Let's get into this, Jay.
Yeah, well, Jack, he changed his mind, okay? He had an epiphany, and he said,
"Oh, yeah?
I don't want to be a Democrat anymore, and I'm going to run for Senate in Alaska as a Republican." Jack, how has he lived in Alaska his whole life?
That I don't know, actually. That's something that the DOJ will definitely dig up in their investigation. But see, there's something here, Jay. There's something that triggered them, not just the two names. There's something here that triggered the investigation. So it goes deeper than stuff that you and I know.
Yeah, well, I think it should be pretty easy to find out if he lived there his whole life, because if he hasn't, that's even more interesting. And if he hadn't, and let's see, when he moved there, very interesting, but maybe he did live there his whole life. When was the last time a Republican won Alaska for president? Alaska should be a red state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a red state. And I know
is.
it's kind of one of those weird red states, like Utah's a weird red state. You know what I'm saying? You get some real milquetoast Republicans out of a place like Utah, it's beat red. Same thing sometimes with Oklahoma, which is as red as it gets, but sometimes you get some real milquetoast out of there too. But
absolutely.
This guy, it came to the point where they did challenge it, and the courts actually said that, no, they're going to have to specify on the ballot. At first, he got kicked off the ballot, like they took him out. And then he repealed it, and they got him back on the ballot. But then they specified it had to say next to the actual Dan Sullivan, who was the senator, It had to say incumbent Republican, and next to the other Dan Sullivan, they just had independent and blah 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 to try and separate them. But
it's still going to siphon votes, though. People don't pay attention. They see Dan Sullivan. That's it.
They don't pay attention, and it's going to siphon some votes. And this looks like probably did siphon a couple of thousand votes off. And it doesn't make a difference in this primary, because he was like the Democrat woman, right? She finished up top and he was a couple of thousand votes behind. But what it does is it gives a kind of a mental edge, like momentum to Democrats. It gives a whole psyche kind of thing, and that's the problem with it. And this is definitely a dirty trick.
And he's been in Alaska since 1980, Jay.
Okay, he's been there for long enough. Fine. So that's not an issue. He's been there for a long time, 40 something years, 46 years. Fine. But all of a sudden, the party switch is very curious.
And Jay, he has no chance to win. He got 2.4% of the vote, but he's staying in the race. Why?
Well, we just said why.
Absolutely.
It's obvious.
Absolutely. Democrat his whole life, flips, gets out of the Democrat ticket so he can run, have the R next to his name, and be just like the incumbent Dan Sullivan. People aren't going to pay attention. What if this Dan Sullivan ends up being at the top of the list? Because how they actually rank you is not in order. It's based on whatever archaic thing that they have in Alaska. This guy could be first.
It better not. And that's why that whoever the Republicans up there have to make sure, no, you cannot do that. Would be egregious at this point.
Absolutely.
Because we know there's something foul going on here. This is not genuine. This is nonsense.
Nope.
And it was hard enough. We had to fight you guys to put a special designation next to his name. They actually made the ballot different to make people as best as possible realize that it's not the same Dan Sullivan. That would be crazy. That better not be the case. If that's the case, I'm like, don't even have the damn election.
You know what? You're right. I'm going to actually ask real quick. What district is that in? Do you happen to know it off the top of your head? What district that's in?
Oh, this is Senate.
Well, it's the Senate. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Senate.
In the Dan Sullivan, let's see. In the Dan Sullivan Alaska race, I'm going to say, how do they? What do I say? How do they list? How do they?
What rules govern how they list the order of candidates?
How do they
on
list? The candidates in the main race. Yeah, I want to see, because every state and a lot of districts even have their own particular ways. Some do it alphabetically, some do it based on whatever. I don't know. But it's not all the same. And if this guy ends up being first of all, you're going to know something's up. But second of all, they can actually, that will siphon off a lot of us. People are going to see that name and not go any further.
Yeah, they'll check the first Dan Sullivan they see if they want to vote for Dan Sullivan, because even if people, it's true. So many people just don't pay attention. I'm sure there are people in Alaska that still don't know this is going on. And here's the thing: a lot of them probably didn't vote in the primary, but they will vote in the general in November, and a lot of them might have not even have heard of this yet. It's very possible. That's also an issue. More people are going to come out in the general than they do in the primary. That's always the way it works. So,
way more.
But you know what? Hey, you guys, the Republicans up there, you know about this. You got a couple of months. I'd be making sure I'd be running ads nonstop about this.
You got to, especially because this guy, they put him in there to siphon votes. They need this seat because the Republicans have this seat right now. They need this seat.
Yeah, no, this would be a big flip for the Democrats, because as we've talked about, the Senate map for them is not favorable for them to flip the Senate. And even if they win this seat, they might not necessarily do it, but it would eat into the majority, which is slim as it is. So no, this is a big seat.
Listen to this, Jay. He can end up being first. Listen to this. The order on the ballot is determined by a random drawing.
Give me a break.
A random drawing by the Division of Elections director.
Give me a break. What's the point of why couldn't it be this simple? The people that finish, the order they finish in the primary is the order we're going to put them on the ballot. What is so hard about that?
But people would be upset, like, hey, that gives them more of a chance. You know how people are. People just whine. But
this have more of a chance.
This is, I would have to say that this is probably the fairest way to do it if there isn't something like this going on. But with this going on, it makes it extremely unfair, because now the election director determines what order they're in. And that election director does the drawing himself. He can say whatever order he wants. He can say, oh, I got him in this order. It's going to be, the challenger Dan Sullivan. Then it's going to be Mary Peltola. Then it's going to be a third person. Then the bottom person is the incumbent Dan Sullivan. That could end up being the ballot.
So this guy does this by himself with nobody else in the room?
That I'm not aware of. I know for a fact that he does the drawing. Now he could do it. He might do it by himself. He might, who the hell knows?
He takes it home with him. he takes a basket home with him and he shakes it up.
He may not even actually do a drawing. He may just, say, all right, this is who won. And he's going to separate the two Dans and watch, Jay. You will see the challenger Dan Sullivan will be at the very top of the list because the Democrats fight dirty and the Republicans let them.
Well, this is a supposed Republican state, so you'd think maybe the guy that's doing it. This is what he should listen. Those two Dan Sullivans. Here's a fact: they can't be next to each other. Number one, there's 4 people. You have to separate those two. You just have to.
Again, it's by random drawing.
Well, unrandom it and make sure in this case that it's not, because this is an unprecedented situation here. So figure something out. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Do something different. You can't have their 2 names next to each other. And the other guy who has 0 chance of winning the election should be not at the top of the ballot. Come on. Give me a break.
Well, but Jay, if this is a plot by the Democrats, which, all indicators point to yes. And if it is, they're going to put him at the top of the ballot because that's why they chose Alaska. That's probably why they chose Alaska, Jay, because in the order that you're in the ballot is done randomly. So he could be at the top and nobody would know who won the drawing except for the election director.
What date is that going to be done by? Because I'm going to be interested to see what that ballot looks like when it comes out.
The drawing? Let me see.
Yeah.
When is the ballot order drawing? I want to know about that. That would be interesting because I assume that they'll tell you probably the same day, I would imagine,
Absolutely.
But this is crazy. It's crazy, man.
It is.
But that's why they chose this state. I got to say, that's why they chose the state, because they know, since they got the same name, since it's a random drawing state, they can pay off the election director, have him put Dan Sullivan, the challenger, at the top, Dan Sullivan, the incumbent, at the bottom, and it's guaranteed to lose. He's guaranteed to lose if that's what happens.
We'll see. Well,
you know how many people are not going to look past the first Dan Sullivan?
Well, that's why I'm saying, and it also makes them spend money probably on ads instead of spending money on other ads. It makes them spend money on these ads too to try and tell people there's 2 Dan Sullivans and don't vote for that one. Make sure you vote for the incumbent Dan Sullivan. They're gonna have to do that. Is there a date on there? What do you got?
Oh, wait now. Wait just a second now. Hang on 1 second. I see something interesting. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I see something very interesting. I just want to confirm, because if this is true, then we might already know the results.
Okay.
It said that the drawing for the primary and the general took place on March 16th, 2026.
Okay.
But how can they do that without the primary having happened?
Right. How are they going to know without who the 4 are going to be?
Absolutely. Doesn't make any sense.
That does make sense.
Okay, let's see. Primary results are the likely top 4. Well, yeah, we already know that. Once the primary is certified, then the division will apply to March order, district rotation, yada yada. So we have to wait until August 31st when the primary is actually certified. Then they'll tell you the results.
Okay.
But real quick though, I want to move on to something that's absolutely insane. But first, let me talk about our sponsor, maxassociates.etsy.com. The #1 place for USA Pride gifts and patriotic apparel. Scan the QR code at the top right or go to maxassociates.etsy.com. They have the absolute best patriotic apparel. Awesome shirts, bags, hats, flags, phone cases, mugs, anything you could possibly want to show your patriotic spirit, show your patriotism, show people that you love America, that you have pride in the USA. Now more than ever, we need to show people that. If you go to maxassociates.etsy.com, you will get anything you could possibly want. The same stuff you can get anywhere else, you can get here, but you can get even better, more specific stuff, and 10% off your order and free shipping anywhere in the United States. But for Secret America viewers only, you can get 20% off your order. That's double off, 20%. All you have to do is type in the code SECRET20, that is SECRET20 at checkout. You will get 20% off your order. That's maxassociates.etsy.com. They also have Secret America gear, and the gear is here. Represent the show, support the mission. We have got the awesome shirts, mugs, we've got candles, phone cases, we've got hats. I mean, they're really, really great stuff. We've got hoodies, secretamericalive.com or maxassociates.etsy.com. You can go to either one of those and you can get the gear at either one of those. Also, the book, By Design, The First Black President. Before we move on, I want to take a minute just to tell you guys about it real quick. If you like Secret America, this book was written for you. The entire concept behind the By Design series is one question: what if history wasn't made but engineered? The first black president takes real people, real events, real timelines, and things that actually happened in modern American history and weaves them into a fictional political conspiracy thriller. And we have to say fictional for legal reasons, but it's the conspiracies that everybody knows and a lot of people believe in. And this is a cinematic political thriller that you get to actually watch the events as they unfold. It's like a movie playing in your head. You do not want to miss it. secretamericalive.com or Amazon. Right now, 26 reviews on Amazon already. All of them are 5 stars. See what everybody is talking about. By Design, The First Black President. Right now, secretamericalive.com or Amazon. You can get the book and the audio book. All right. So, Jay, Harvard, man. Okay. So Harvard is going to pay $53 million to settle a ghoulish class action suit brought by families that claimed an imprisoned former morgue manager at the Ivy League institution sold their bodies. Their loved ones were donated to its medical school for research. But not only did he sell their bodies, but he even dismembered and sold their body parts on the black market. A state court judge in Boston approved the 8-figure settlement Tuesday in the suit stemming from the 2023 arrest of disgraced former Harvard Medical School's morgue manager, Cedric Lodge. So he was Harvard Medical School's morgue manager. People would donate bodies for medical research, donate their loved ones, or people that didn't have loved ones, maybe homeless people, whatever, for research. He would literally cut them up and turn around and sell their body parts on the black market. I mean, he must sell them for transplants or something. I don't know what the hell he was selling them for.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. What is he selling them for?
It's transplants, but this is going to be hard to hear, Jay, but also sexual fetishes. Oh. All right. A lot of those are sold for sexual fetishes. And yeah, it's gross. It is what it is. But, they embalm them and then, they ship them off to whoever pays for it on Pornhub or whatever it is.
How long was this going on for?
Let's see. Listen to this. Holy shit. Lodge, who worked at Harvard's morgue for 30 years.
Christ.
30 years. Listen to this. As far back as 2018, so that's 8 years, Lodge had been stealing body parts, including heads, faces, brains, skin, and hands, which he'd then bring to his home in New Hampshire and sell with his wife, shipping them to buyers. Shipping heads, faces, brains, skin, hands. What the hell is going on here? Okay, in one crazy. Horrifying example, listen to this. Holy shit. In one horrifying example heard during the trial, Lodge provided, this is unbelievable, skin to a buyer so it could be tanned into leather and bound into a book. Human skin. And it was the U.S. attorney called it a deeply horrifying reality. This man sold human skin, and that's just one thing we know about. Sold it to a buyer who literally made the human skin into a book cover. Imagine the sexual shit that's going on.
This guy's like Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was thinking more, Buffalo Bill, right? I was thinking Ed Gein. When I heard that, I'm thinking Ed, you know who Ed Gein is? He was the serial killer back in like the 50s, I want to say. It was in Wisconsin, but I can't really remember. But he was the guy who made lampshades out of skin. He was the guy who had like human body parts everywhere. He made bowls out of their skulls. He would eat out of their skulls. Yeah, that was the guy who would literally, when he couldn't find somebody to kill to take their body parts, he dug them up out of the cemetery and used it to make. Look up Ed Gein. It's Ed Gein. Check it out if you ever get a chance. There's even I believe there's even documentaries out about him on Netflix now, and shows the monster. Incredible. But that's what this reminds me of. This guy, only he wasn't the one that actually made the shit. He did dismember it and sell the body parts, though. But I mean, to people, Jay, that wanted to make books out of human skin. Imagine there are probably people out there that bought the bottom half of a female torso for whatever reason.
Oh my God. I don't even want to think about it. That's sick.
I'm saying, man, my
and this
God,
is at
this
Harvard.
dude was there for 30 years.
30 years. So he was probably doing it for more than 8 when they traced it back.
That's just what they know of. That's just what they know of.
So you said this was settled for $53 million. How many families are we talking?
It does not say how many families there are, but what I will say is that 53 million ain't enough. That ain't enough.
I was just going to say the same thing.
God almighty, dude.
I was
even if it was one family, that ain't enough.
It's not.
I mean,
this is sick. and this, like, Jack, I'm glad that you didn't want to do that with your book. You didn't want it.
No, I thought about it, but the skin was too expensive.
Oh, and no, he was put out of business by that time. You couldn't get it.
Yeah, and that's why people were charging more. My supplier of human skin charged more since he was put out of business. So I just said, forget it.
Yeah, prices went up. That's what happens. It's a supply and demand.
Supply and demand, baby.
Yeah, it's basic economics. But it's crazy. That is sick. Harvard.
Yeah.
Harvard.
Wow. I mean,
how did nobody at Harvard for 30 years this guy worked there, and at least 8 years they know he's doing this? Nobody at Harvard had a clue.
Well, see, he had the best position since he was the director. What happens is whoever donated the bodies, it came to him. So he was the one that did the paperwork, and the loved ones will never know what happened to the bodies. So you don't have to worry about that. That's why I wonder how he got caught, but the loved ones will never know about the bodies. And then Jay, he doesn't have to do the paperwork. He can take the body. As far as Harvard knows, there was no body. And as far as the loved ones knows, their body was donated to medical science. So now he has this body he can cut up and sell for parts, just like a truck.
Here's what I'm thinking. How he got caught.
I'd like to know how he got caught.
All right. Here's what I'm thinking. He's shipping this. He's shipping these body parts.
Yeah.
You can't just put them in a paper bag or an envelope and ship them.
No, you probably do it with ice packs and shit.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe something like a red flag went off because
I'm going to see how he got
some of the shipping process that he was using. And finally somebody said, what the hell does this guy need all this ice all the time for? Or what does he need all this special packaging for all the time? And everything he's like getting shipped out on a regular basis, like biodegrade. He's got to probably have like the bio signs on it, the biohazard signs.
By the way,
Jay,
this guy looks nothing like what you'd picture. I was picturing an evil white guy. This is a fat black dude.
I heard the name and I said, it's a black guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't really thinking of the name, but yeah, Cedric is a black name. But still, I'm thinking, I wasn't really thinking about the name. I was thinking about the position. Director of the morgue. I'm thinking it's an evil white guy. It turns out to be a fat black.
Hold on. A black guy can't be the director, Jack? What the hell?
Oh, a black guy can be an evil son of a bitch. Jay, for everybody out there, for some reason, the chat is still not showing up in here. Matt, if you're listening to us, tell us how you got in here. You are on X, and somehow you're the only one whose chat is able to come through on this chat. How did you get in here? Are you going through the desktop instead of the app? How are you doing it? Let us know, buddy, because nobody can seem to get into the chat, and it's crazy as hell.
This is the mystery. This is one of these mysteries that we cannot figure out. How Matt's the only one we could see on the screen in StreamYard in X, and everybody else is on the X chat. I have to actually go to the actual app to talk to them and see what they're saying. Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. But yeah, Cedric the entertainer. Not him, but yeah, this guy was.
Well, this guy's pretty entertaining, I must say.
It's crazy. This is like a Hollywood story. They got to make a movie about this one.
Oh, they're going to. They have to. I mean, my God, how did Cedric Lodge get caught? I gotta know. It's piqued my interest. I gotta know how he got caught. I have to know.
I'm gonna say the way he was shipping stuff finally put out the signals to people to check this guy out. That's my guess.
I'm hoping that's the case, but the scheme was exposed with the arrest of Lodge and others in 2023. Interesting.
But how?
So I'm looking right now. Let's see. Oh, listen to this, man. Holy shit. It exposed a nationwide network of human remains trading.
Didn't know that exists.
all over the country, nationwide, there are people right now, as we speak, trading human body parts.
Well, who else is involved? You got Harvard. What is Princeton also involved? Any more Ivies?
It does not say anything about that, but his wife was also sentenced. Oh, listen. Let's see. Kathleen Barber, whose father, Richard Lord, donated his body to the medical school, told the Cedric Lodge had stolen the family. Nah, that's not it. I'm trying to find how he got caught, but for some reason, it says, let's see. He pled guilty. Those goods included skin, brains, and hearts dissected and removed from the dead bodies. My God. Let's see.
What is this? Another question. If you can find out, what is the sentence?
Holy shit. His sentence was 8 years. Listen to this. Yeah, listen to this, man. Listen, this is fucking crazy. Okay, so Cedric Lodge sold these body parts to people he met online, including in Facebook groups. The buyers were collectors of human body parts or people who then sold or traded the items again. Denise Lodge, which is his wife, would ship the body parts and take payments via her PayPal account at least once that they know of. Cedric Lodge invited a buyer into the university morgue, selling the person 2 dissected faces for $600.
Who does this? Who are these people on Facebook that are we live in a very troubled world.
Dude, this guy went to the university morgue and bought 2 faces that Cedric then cut off the guy's heads.
I'm telling you, he's Buffalo Bill. Cutting off faces.
Unbelievable. Wow. My God.
No, who cut off faces? It was not just Buffalo Bill. It was Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, Ed Gein is not Cedric Lodge. He's the guy. Ed Gein is the guy who would buy the body parts to, fashion. He made gloves. He had gloves made out of human skin. I mean, you should see. He actually had a torso that he cut off to put up against his body. It was like a vest almost. It was freaking crazy, man.
I'm telling you, this is Silence of the Lambs.
But yeah, I cannot. For some reason, I can't find how he was caught. But I can tell you that. Wow.
I want to know how they crack this case.
I gotta tell you, man, there is some insane shiznit on this, man. The couple earned $40,000 to $95,000. I would have charged more for these things. He charged $600 for 2 faces that charge $5,000 or something. I mean, you're charging very little money. Okay,
Jack,
listen.
what's the market rate? It's the market rate. He's obviously not the only one doing this. There's Facebook groups.
No, it's a network. It's a whole net. But Jay, look at this. Okay, Matt says he's on his phone, on his iPhone. He joined the podcast on X and was able to type in chat. Why the hell can nobody else do that?
I don't know. Why?
Maybe Matt did not update. I heard that the new update for X to try to make Android stuff messed it up for iPhone. So maybe, Matt, are you on Android or an iPhone? That will be interesting. No, it says iPhone. So I'm wondering if he hasn't updated his app yet. Anybody else that updated may not be able to come through the chat on StreamYard.
But this has been going on for days now.
Yeah, it's been about a week now. At least a little over a week now, actually.
I don't know. All
right, before we move on, I'm going to ask AI how he got caught. I got to know.
Please. I have to know. How this guy finally got caught after doing it. We know minimum of 8 years, probably doing it for 30 years. Oh, let's say I'm gonna say he didn't do it for 30. I'm gonna say he was probably doing it for like 20.
I'd say, I was gonna say maybe 15 years because it takes a certain amount of time to get desensitized to that before you can start doing it.
Yeah. I would say
listen.
Probably
wow, interesting. Okay, so Cedric Lodge was caught after a tip about human remains at the Pennsylvania home of buyer Jeremy Pauly triggered a broader investigation that traced the parts back to him. In June 2022, Pauly's then wife, or a related tipster associated with the property, contacted local police about suspicious buckets in the basement of a rental home. Officers found containers holding human remains, including brains, hearts, livers, skin, lungs, and other parts. A forensic pathologist confirmed they were human and unlawfully obtained. Pauly was arrested and charged. Investigation of his online communications, purchases, and sales revealed a network of buyers and sellers of human remains. This connected him to people who obtained parts from Lodge, including Katrina McLean and Joshua Taylor, who bought from Lodge and sometimes entered the Harvard morgue with his assistants, as well as an Arkansas crematorium worker who stole separate remains. This is a whole fucking network, dude. It is insane.
Who knew?
Wow.
Well,
hey, look, we got another one. Chris Hicks is on X Chat.
Yeah,
Now
but
there's
see,
two people that are on X chat.
well, that's Hickser.
Hickser, excellent. Good to
That's
see you.
Hickser. But Jack, if I go onto the X chat in the actual on the app on the desktop, I don't see him or Matt.
Well, why do they have the golden ticket?
I don't know.
That's freaking crazy, man. Technology is just not where you want it to be. Let me tell you.
Not yet. Not yet. Definitely.
All
not.
right. Yeah. We have a visitor. No, Hickser's a regular, just like you, Matt. He just hasn't been able to get into the chat lately. Nobody can. How the hell you guys are in the chat, to be honest with you. All right. Let's move on, Jay, because we've got a lot of crazy stuff to talk about. That was something I could spend all day talking about, honestly, just because it's crazy as hell. But listen to this. I got something even crazier for you. Islamic extremist Hassan Piker has a brother, and that brother holds a top security clearance in America, and has even worked on Air Force One. We're talking an Islamic extremist who has grown up and had the same influences as Hassan Piker. You know, who knows what this guy is thinking? He's worked on Air Force One. He has a top security clearance where who knows what kind of sensitive information he has access to. This is absolutely incredible. Don't they do background checks on these people? I mean, you would think for a top security clearance that having an immediate family member that's an Islamic extremist would disqualify you from that.
Yeah, you would think. But I guess
not in America. Not in America.
Let's put this one into the what can possibly go wrong file.
Insane.
Can we find out, Jack, if this guy was like his brother? You said it's his brother, right?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to read a little something to you.
Like, did he go back to Turkey too? Did he go back to Turkey like Hassan Piker and then get sent back here?
Well, I'm going to read this to you and you tell me what you think, because he has been on Hassan Piker's social media channels multiple times. Sure. So Hassan Piker's younger brother is an aerospace engineer with security clearances who spent years working on U.S. military projects for Boeing, projects that include Air Force One and the top secret Doomsday plane designed for nuclear war. His name is Marat Piker. Marat Piker, an engineer who spent more than a decade at Boeing, regularly appears on his older brother's controversial social media channel and has also accompanied him to events. Hassan has emerged as a yada, 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 yada. Let's keep going. Hassan also declared that America deserved 9/11. Let's see. What about his brother? I want to see more about his brother. I don't really care about. Marat worked as a full-time employee at Boeing for more than a decade, departing of his own volition. He said he told the Washington Free Beacon that he said his background includes significant experience at Boeing and Defense, where I led mechanical design and integration for next-generation satellite structures and managed high-pressure anomaly investigations. My goodness. He holds a master's in aerospace engineering from UCLA and possesses active security clearances. But listen to this. Listen to this. This is the smoking gun right here. Marat and Hassan Piker were born in New Jersey, but both did their primary and secondary schooling in Turkey.
There you go.
Both of them in Turkey.
There you go. Both indoctrinated in Turkey and brought back here.
And he has an active security clearance. He worked on the president's plane, Jay.
It's absurd. It should be yanked immediately. His security clearance should be yanked immediately.
What the? Jay.
What other country?
Doesn't the FBI do background checks on these people?
Whose job is it? Is it the FBI? Whose job is it, actually?
The FBI usually does the background checks for any of the security clearances.
Well, I guess not, Jack. I guess I went through more of a background check when I became a cop. I
Jay,
did. I think I did.
We found everything you need to know about this man in an article. They can't find out that he did his schooling in Turkey.
And now that this is public, and you heard it right here, right now, today. Remember where you heard this? Right now, today at 7:30 p.m. on Secret America, that Hassan Piker's brother has a security clearance to work on Air Force One. All right, that's what you're saying. You're reporting that, right?
Absolutely.
And that, like his brother, as a young man, he went back to Turkey and was taught there how to hate America and come back, and then gets the job working on Air Force One. How does this happen? What
same influences that Hassan Piker had, same exact influences. Turkey, Jay, he's still, like I said, he has the active security clearance. He regularly appears on his brother's podcast.
I don't know how we're this dumb. I mean, is he going to program the plane? I mean, you know, his brother says we deserve 9/11, where planes were flown into buildings, and this guy's working on the most important plane on the planet.
And Jay, who knows what kind of backdoor channel he put in the software that he made so he could get in there as a private citizen if he wants to.
I don't know. We don't know.
My God.
This
is America in the 21st century.
If anybody from the White House or anybody who maybe knows somebody's best friend's cousin's former roommate who works at the White House is listening to this right now, tell them to get the message to somebody who can get this guy's security clearance yanked.
Yeah, this is
if it's not already. You're telling me, Jack, right now, we're sure he has an active security
100% sure is an active security clearance as we speak.
Incredible. You couldn't get one of those. Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance. Neither could I.
Nobody, you know how hard it is to get one of those? But yet this man who was taught in Turkey the same things that Hassan Piker was taught. And he's got an Islamic extremist brother. I can only imagine the parents, yet he got a security clearance. Top secure. Not one of the bottom. He got the top.
And here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'll say. For all we know, maybe he's not like his brother. Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt for the sake of argument.
That's hard to do.
I know that.
Considering
You're right.
his upbringing.
100% it is. I'm just saying because the argument you're going to get. Well, it doesn't mean he's like his brother. It doesn't.
But he also goes on his podcast all the time, and you know that. You know what he does on the podcast.
Right. You know what they're talking about in the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm just playing their devil's advocate. Say,
okay, go ahead.
All we know, he doesn't believe any of that. He's straight as. That might be true, but I can't take that chance, and I need that security clearance yanked. I need that clearance.
How could you? Why would you play with the security of America and the president? This is not a joke.
Insane. If I had I'm telling you, when I went through my screenings, 2 of them for the NYPD and the Port Authority Police, if I had Jack, they ask about your family members. They ask about everything. Do you have anybody who's in gambling debt in your family?
Even just for police, they want to know everything about you.
Because they want to know if you're corruptible. That's what they're looking for. Is there a red flag that makes us think that this guy or this girl is going to abuse their power to aid themselves or somebody close to them?
And this guy was supposed to go through a background check that is higher than the CIA agents.
Insane. This is insane.
This
is insane. It's insane, but at the same time, you think to yourself, our country, are we this stupid or just too nice? What is it? Is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, if you want the truth. I think we are both. I think we're too nice and we're stupid.
The hell is wrong with us?
I will say, I do love your background, though, with the by design. You can see it right there. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Right there.
I love that. Yeah, no, it's just nuts. But let me show you something else, okay? So, speaking of Islamic extremists, there was an Islamic extremist named Imam Tawhidi, and he came out and told the world the plan that the Islamists are following. Not what they're going to, not what we already know what they want to do, but he comes out and actually tells you the plan of why they vote for the leftists, what they're doing, and this. And he's a former Islamic extremist. He still practices Islam, but he's not an extremist like he was before. So he comes out and tells the plan. Wait till you hear what he said about the leftists. He tells you straight up what they think of the leftists and why they use them and why they do what they do. And I'm going to pull it up right now because I think everybody should hear this. Honestly, I think the leftists need to hear it more than anybody. Not that they'll actually listen, but I think they need to hear it more than anybody. So I'm going to try to find it real quick. I know I have it. That's the best. Once you see it, though, Jay, this guy, you could tell he used to be an extremist because he still wears the garb and all that. Mm-hmm. But you can also tell that he's telling the truth about why they do what they do and why they use who they use to do it. It's pretty amazing that he actually comes out and does that. Just wish I could find the damn thing. I got so many things for us to talk about that it's difficult to find anything.
Well, listen, we still got tomorrow and Friday this week, so plenty
we
to do.
But this I want to show. I got to show. I know it's right around the corner. Let's see here. But yeah, it is. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. Here we go. All right. I'm going to pull this up right here, and I want everybody to take a listen. You're going to enjoy this. This is very, very interesting. Now, the best part about this is I haven't even listened to the whole thing. I haven't listened to the whole thing. So I want to see what's going on. And Christian Radio says that Rumble's not working for us today.
I guess maybe ours, but LFA TV's working. I'm looking at it right now.
LFA TV's working?
Yep.
All right, let me look at ours real quick.
Go ahead. Christian, if ours isn't working, go to LFA TV. There's a chat going on there. A lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's a good one. That's a good chat.
Now, it won't, just so you know, it won't come up on our screen. Nothing seems to come up on our screen at the moment for some reason, unless it's a few selective, a few selective people.
They have high
That's weird.
security clearance. They have high security clearance.
Yeah. It's not on there.
It's not running on a regular channel?
No. That's weird.
Let me take a look.
Oh, yeah. It is. Okay, I found it. It's on there. I found it. Let me make sure it's working, though.
Let me see.
Yep, it's working. Okay, we're good. It should be working now. Christian, if you want to go there, you can. All right, let's move on, Jay. Let's show you the video. And again, I have not seen this whole video, so I don't know everything. So it's going to be interesting. We're all going to watch it together. All right, let's take a listen.
The question becomes then, if they believe that, why are Muslims voting for the Democratic Party? Now, Dinesh D'Souza asked this question of a Muslim in an interview that he did. You can see it here.
So here's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that, But would she have an abortion? Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
The future of America has to be Muslim. That's exactly what they say. By any means necessary, the future of America has to be Muslim. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're saying. And I love this guy's candor. He's right. The left kills themselves. They have the suicidal empathy. They are the reason for America's ills as we speak. You know, they are the sheep that are saying free the wolf. That's what they're doing. And it's easy to manipulate them. You know, I mean, they have the suicidal empathy. So if I'm a radical Islamist, why not take advantage of that? If I want my agenda, my religion to be the only religion in America, I take advantage of the left's stupidity. I take advantage of it. I let them do my bidding for me. And then I eventually take over. Jay, that is the playbook they are using right now because the left did all their work for them for the last 15 years. The left has been doing their work for them. Now they're taking over. They're getting hell, another Democratic Socialist just won last night in the primaries. They're taking over, Jay. And once they get full power, once they have full power over the Democratic Party, then they're either going to be literally or metaphorically lined up against the wall. That's what's going to happen. And because they're no longer the useful idiots. They're no longer useful. They're just the idiots.
Exactly. We don't need idiots.
No,
you guys did your role. Thank you very much. And we just don't want idiots around anymore. In fact, we can't stand you. We probably hate you. We hate you more actually than conservatives do.
Oh, they hate them. They hate them because they stand for the transgender and the gay and all that bullshit. They hate them, Jay.
Yep, they hate them and useful
tools. They have no problem lining them up against the wall.
No, they'll gladly do it. Actually, they're probably laughing at them as they do it. It's crazy, but this is really what's happening. Conservatives, we wouldn't tolerate this crap. That's why we're not tolerating the takeover as Islam, right? We're not tolerating Sharia law. We're not tolerating this radical, violent ideology that you have. But the left, as long as it's against conservatives, and especially if it's against Donald Trump, we're all in. What do you guys need? You want us to go riot against Donald Trump? You want us to go riot against conservatives? You got it, because that's how sick in the head we are, and that's how easily, like you said, we could be manipulated to think, yes, this will change everything for the better, and you guys are on our side, and when this all comes down, we're going to get everything we wanted. No, you're not. You're going to get.
You're going to have our backs. Yep.
Yeah,
and Jay,
no,
the best part about this is it's already started. They're about halfway taken over the party already. It's about 50-50 now. They are this close to being the majority in that party. Once they are, they're going to kick them out. Okay. And then if they end up getting into the conservative party, which they won't at the present time, but if they end up forcing their way in, Jay, if they get enough Muslims and leftists, and you know what? I take that back. I don't think they'll kick them out right now, because they'll kick them out once they get ultimate power. They still need the leftists to vote.
Yes.
Okay. So if they get the leftists to vote for them, and they get the House, the Senate, and the presidency one day, and,
well,
don't make no mistake,
Jack, if they right, the goal is to get more of them here.
Yeah, of course,
and to breed as you're doing that.
That's why they each have 20 kids.
That's how you get the takeover. You combine those two with the left advocating for open borders and not vetting anybody. Oh, and let everybody in. It doesn't matter if they're from a terrorist country. Let them in. That's how they will get the numbers eventually. And that's when that's truly when the left will be the useless idiots.
Yeah. And that's why they're using them. They're using them for these platforms. They are the left. It's crazy. The left are the objects of their own demise. They are actually killing themselves. They are the sheep telling the world to release the wolf. Free the wolf. I'm the sheep. You free the wolf. These guys, once they get power, Jay, and make no mistake, I wanted to say this before, make no mistake, they will win the presidency one day. It's not going to be a conservative president for the rest of all time. They will win the presidency one day. And when that happens, if they also have the House and the Senate, America will be no more. I guarantee you, they will force laws down people's throats. First of all, they'll stack the Supreme Court. Then they will systematically either remove the Constitution or force laws down the throats of everybody. That makes it a moot point, because they are taking over America one way or another. Conservatives are literally our last stand. Okay, we are the last stand, because the Supreme Court helps us now, but that's only because people follow what the Supreme Court says. If the Jay, let's say there was a socialist president and the Supreme Court said, okay, you're not allowed to do this, but the socialist president did it anyway. What the fuck's the Supreme Court going to do? They're not going to do shit.
No, nothing. They're going to say it's constitutional. It's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I found very interesting. The abortion, what he said. First of all, he says, yeah, you guys go have your abortions. You fight for that. Because not only that, like you said, they're killing themselves. They are literally killing themselves. They're not having
it's easy
babies.
to take over. If you've got 20 kids and they're all getting abortions.
Yes. They're not having babies.
Exactly.
They're gonna die out eventually.
Exactly.
Plus, he said, we do not ever have abortions. And I love what he said about Ilhan Omar. Yeah. She's women's choice. And he's like, she would never, ever have an abortion.
He said she's not killing the Muslim baby in her belly. That's not happening. So,
never.
and Jay, this religion is taking over because, and I don't like to call it a religion, it's more of an ideology to me. And Jay, I personally believe that before it's too late, we need to classify this as an ideology so it does not have the protections that a religion is afforded. Okay, because if we classify this as an ideology instead of a religion, then they can be discriminated against in terms of not in terms of, like give it like they can't have food and we can, not those kind of discrimination, but I'm talking about discriminations where we can get them out of here, because right now they have religious protections. You know what I mean? You can't deport them based on their religion. You know what I mean? But if you turn it into an ideology, they no longer have those protections.
Yeah, if you could lump it into some kind of a terrorist kind of threat. Yeah.
You could name them all terrorists. You could call it an ideology and name that ideology a terrorist threat. That's all you got to do.
Which it is.
Yeah, just like Biden did to conservatives. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. He did. That's exactly what he did. He said it outwardly all the time. Conservatives are especially white men, are the biggest threat. They're the biggest domestic terrorist threat in America. He absolutely said it. Imagine if anybody said that about Muslims. Oh my God. Forget it. Forget it. It would be outrage. Forget about it. And the people most outraged would be white women.
Oh yeah, they're always the ones that are outraged. All right,
Yeah.
Jay, we got a few minutes left, so I want to talk about something that's very important. Okay, this is really crazy. So the Democratic Socialists of America are being funded by the Chinese Communist Party through indirect donations from Neville Singham. Okay, he is a known socialist sympathizer who has already donated upwards of $20 million just to the People's Forum. That isn't counting all the other donations to all the other places. So what he does is they do not donate directly to the Democratic Socialists of America. They donate to other entities who then route that money to the Democratic Socialists of America. So the Democratic Socialists of America is actually the Chinese Communist Party. That's what it is, but with a different face. That's all it is. It is a communist and Vladimir Lenin said it best. I say this all the time. Vladimir Lenin said it best. The goal of socialism is communism. That's the goal. Socialism by itself is not an actual it's not an actual ideology. Okay, it's communism. Socialism is like the beginning. It's like an unfinished version of communism. And the Chinese Communist Party sees the fact that the left and the socialists are are teamed up with Islam. And what they want to do, they want to fund the Democratic Socialists of America because they know that can be America's demise if it is played correctly.
Yeah, it's like the beginnings of communism. It's the implementation. Absolutely. The implementation. It's the initial steps to start it is what it is. And listen, man, I mean, Neville Singham, I hear that name all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
He's based in Shanghai. He's in
Shanghai. Yes. That guy should be considered a terrorist.
How's he allowed, Jay? 278 million. He has, listen to this. Okay.
Yeah, how are we allowing that money?
Yeah, he's directed over $278 million through nonprofits to a network of far left groups, including the People's Forum, the PSL, Code Pink, DSA, and all of that.
He's like the new USAID.
He is. He's exactly that. He's George Soros for the Chinese.
Yeah. God.
It's crazy what's going on in America. And we allow everything we've talked about. We allow it all.
Exactly. We're allowing everything we talked about tonight. We're allowing it to happen. And we know it's not good. We know it's bad.
That's why we report it to all of you guys, because a lot of these things, I can guarantee you most of these things, the people that are listening did not know about, because these are fresh things that, take research to find out. And that's why we bring these things to you, because America will not do anything about it unless it is brought into the light and people start being outraged about it. So that is why we bring you the secrets that they hide from you. That is why we're called Secret America. We give you the secrets and then you decide what to do with them.
This is the Red-Green Alliance in action. That Neville Singham thing that's like the Red-Green Alliance right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And but in the end, the green is going to kill the red.
I hope so.
I mean, last night in Florida, Vindman, that scumbag, who should be in prison for what he did with that whole first impeachment of President Trump, that scumbag, traitor, he got beat by a socialist.
Yeah.
In Florida.
And that's the socialist that was crazy, by the way.
Did you
see her videos?
She's
nuts.
Her videos? She's nuts.
Nuts.
Completely nuts.
Listen to this. One last thing before we go. Speaking of China, Natalie Winters found over a dozen researchers who worked for the Pentagon Defense Project or in the U.S. weapons lab. And guess what? They now all work in China's military, including nuclear weapon complex and blacklisted military universities. Okay, I'm not going to show you guys the list because you won't recognize any of the names. They're all Chinese people. What I don't understand, Jay, is why are we hiring Chinese people to be Pentagon Defense Project researchers or U.S. Weapons Labs researchers when at least 12 of them that we know have gotten everything they could learn from America and taken it to China's military to work for the nuclear weapon complex or blacklisted military universities? Why, Jay? Why is America doing this to itself?
We just add it to the list of everything we've talked about tonight.
Unbelievable.
Add it to the list. Here's the thing. First of all, why are they here anyway? I don't know. That's not my field. Maybe we need them here to do this work. I don't know.
You should watch the movie The Double. That'll tell you all you need to know. It's called The Double, and it has Richard Gere and Topher Grace, and it's during the Cold War era with Russia and the United States. It is an unbelievable movie, and it'll tell you why you see the Chinese people here that might have even been born in America. And this is a true story based on what Russia did to the U.S. back then. It's unbelievable. It's a shock twist ending. You'll love it.
Okay, why are we allowing them now? It should be like, now you can't leave. You can't go back to China. You want to work in this field, you cannot travel back to China with this information.
I would think that they would have some kind of metric for that, have some kind of safeguard for that, but they don't.
Not.
They don't.
Apparently not.
Well, Jay, what are they going to do? Even if they have the safeguards, this guy boards a flight to China and never comes back. What are they going to do?
I don't know. Put a freaking bracelet around his ankle so you can't leave. You want to work here, and you want to work here, or if you don't, then go back to China and you're not working here. If you do,
Jay,
these are the rules.
If they put the bracelet on him, America's going to give him 2 days to roam free. You remember that?
Only in Chicago. Only in Chicago.
2 days to roam free. And that's actually in the entire state of Illinois, by the way. 2 days a week to roam free.
That was amazing. Talk about that's more of a statewide decision, but how dumb can you possibly be?
Well, that is the state where Barack Obama came from, so you tell me.
And now look who's running it. You got Pritzker and Brandon Johnson as the mayor of Chicago, and Pritzker's the governor.
And I gotta say, Brandon Johnson has the lowest approval rating in the history of politics. I mean, local, national, statewide. His approval rating is 3%. And it is the lowest in the history of politics.
How do you even you can't possibly, if you tried, have a 3% approval rating.
By the way, he was voted in for re-election.
When was the last election for him?
I think it was last year, or it's about a year and a half ago. He's got another few years left.
When the hell's his term up? I feel like the guy's been there it was Lori Lightfoot. Remember, Beetlejuice, and then Brandon Johnson. Remember, Jack, before we go, when people say it can't get worse. Yes, and I say it can, and it probably will. There's a perfect example. Did anybody think it could ever be worse than Lori Lightfoot? Well, no. You got it, Brandon Johnson.
And Brandon Johnson,
anybody ever think it'd be worse, Stack? Did you think it'd be worse than Bill de Blasio? Yeah. Now you got Mom Donnie. Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure you guys check out maxassociates.etsy.com, the #1 place for USA Pride gifts and patriotic apparel. Scan the QR code at the top right. Go to maxassociates.etsy.com. Enter the code SECRET20 at checkout. That's SECRET20, and you will get 20% off your order and free shipping anywhere in the United States. You cannot beat that deal. If you love America and you want to show it, go to maxassociates.etsy.com. We also have Secret America gear. Represent the show, support the mission, secretamericalive.com, or also on maxassociates.etsy.com. And then we have the book, By Design, The First Black President. This is the book that is like I said, it's a cinematic political thriller, a movie playing in your head. You get to follow along the events as they unfold. You get to see what happened, who was guiding Obama the entire time. What was the real story with the birth certificate? What was the real story with the spouse and the kids? And I can tell you, there are things in there. And this book is the only things that aren't considered official narrative and true are the conspiracies surrounding him, because it's not part of the official narrative. But let me tell you, some of the things that are part of it that people don't know about, how he became Illinois State Senator, how he got his first appointment as Illinois State Senator. That is in this book, and it will blow your mind. Check it out. By Design, The First Black President. Order now at secretamericalive.com. You can get a copy there, or the audio book there, or you can go to amazon.com. And make sure you guys check us out. We are live every weekday. Okay, we're live every single weekday. We're on Talk Red, we're on LFA TV. We love both of those networks. They're really great. As you can see at the bottom, we got their logos down there. Talk Red, LFA TV. They're both really good. And we got all of our channels on X and Rumble and YouTube. It's all Secret America TV. So make sure you guys follow us, subscribe. Let us know that we're making an impact. That's how we know that we're making an impact. If you guys subscribe and follow, if people actually care enough to follow what you're doing, to see what you're doing, that is how you know you're making an impact. So follow us on X, Rumble, YouTube, Kick, Instagram. It's all Secret America TV. That is the screen name for every single one of them. All right, Jay, I think we have solved all the problems we can for one day. What do you think? You think we're good?
Well, I think we didn't. Yes, we always try to solve problems, but I think we exposed a lot of problems.
We exposed. That's what we do. That's why we're called Secret America. We expose the shit that nobody knows about. So you guys go research everything we said. It's all 100% true. Every little bit of it. You can pause, research, hit play, pause. Trust me, it is all true. It is all real, and it is all allowed in the United States of America. For Jay Gatling, I am Jack Danger. Thank you for watching Secret America.
You've been listening to Secret America.